evening, wherever you are. We are here at beautiful downtown Trenton at Classics Bookstore. Once again, we are here every first Saturday of the month for the Classic Books open mic on Lafayette Street here in downtown Trenton, New Jersey. Today, I have a very special guest. Um, he is an author, he is a poet, and he is a good friend of mine who has taught uh, us about the haiku poetry. Uh, Let me introduce to everyone Mr. Mark Schardine.
This is Mark Schardine. Pleased to meet you, James. Pleased to
Yes.
speak with you.
All right.
And thank you very much for the possibility to speak about my poetry. Very much appreciated.
Always, always, Mark. You've been consistently coming down and blessing the open mic. Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself and your upbringing.
Well, I'm originally not from New Jersey, originally from Cincinnati. And I think perhaps in terms of poetry, I think the main event for me it was in high school. I had a couple of teachers who really sparked an interest in poetry. We would read, of course, the sonnets, Shakespeare and his contemporaries, others such as Wordsworth and Shelley. Didn't think I would become a poet myself, but I certainly enjoyed reading poetry. I moved to New Jersey with my wife in 1996. She became a professor at the College of New Jersey, French professor. And if you do a search of my name, you'll notice books of poetry in French as well as English. And then I think it was 2007. Some of my co-workers said, "Well, why don't we just write some poetry? Let's go at it." And we said, "Let's haiku. Let's try haiku, 575." Mm-hmm. And I just continued writing 575 poetry. Now, true enough, some experts of haiku will tell you there's much, much more to haiku than counting syllables.
All right. So, tell me about some of your favorite haiku poets and how did you get into it?
Well, so we didn't really follow any rules. We just, with my coworkers, we just started writing 575 poetry. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that with that format, I could write about relationships among human beings, the natural world, also just concerns I might have. And it really just triggered. Because I'm just feeling a need to write. And of course, it took quite some time for the books to come together. Mm-hmm. There was also, in terms of favorite writers, two very, very good American poets. Well, there's Edgar Allan Poe. Mm-hmm. The Raven remains a really remarkable poem and a remarkable expression mm-hmm. of his emotions. And another one whom I discovered about 2006, the American poet Robinson Jeffers, mm-hmm. who lived from 1887 to 1962. A lot of poetry about the natural world. He lived in California, the Big Sur coast. Okay. And just the beauty, the immensity, but also the danger of the natural world. Mm-hmm. Also, political poetry. Mm-hmm. For Robinson Jeffers, it was a case of understood people didn't agree with him, but he would present his ideas forcefully, clearly, and so much so that you knew exactly what he meant. Mm-hmm. And so I think he was a very good role model for me.
When did you encounter his writings?
At least it's about 2006. I started reading some of his. I have purchased one of his books. In fact, his main books are. You choose just a book that came out, I believe, in the 1960s, shortly after he passed away. Mm-hmm. It's about this thick. But in terms of interest, it's about this thick.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And I think what also is very important about Robinson Jeffers that there was a lot of influences, but he ended up developing his own style. Okay. And in some ways, just to encourage young writers, poets, short story writers, novelists, experiment with different styles. Find
Mm-hmm.
different ways of writing things. Find different ways of expressing yourself. Take a little of this, little of that, a few other things here, and you can find yourself writing quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I have to say, my wife and her mother were very, very encouraging. And you
Okay.
notice I've written in French as well. I
Oh,
have them
wow.
to thank for it
Okay.
because they encouraged me. They edited my first book in French. It played a major role in the second one as well.
Okay.
I very much encourage writers, if you can learn another language, please do so because it will sharpen your skills,
Yeah.
expand your horizons.
Yeah.
You'll find things you can do in another language that you can't do in English. You'll find, oh, wait a minute, English is remarkable, and I'm comparing it to another language. So it's not just a case of that's the only thing I know, and I'm sure it's good.
Now let's go into your books. Let's talk about how many books have
Okay,
you written first?
okay. This is well, the first English language book came out. This was 2019. Let me see. Make sure that.
Mm-hmm.
Charm, Elegance, and Intrigue. This was with Red Dashboard Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Elizabeth Stelling to thank for this. As we know, she unfortunately passed away.
Oh yeah.
And as I said, I started with 575,
Mm-hmm.
which for most of us is the haiku form.
Mm-hmm.
There is another Japanese form. It's Tanka, Tanka,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 57577.
Mm.
And the question is, can you tell a story, 5 lines, syllable count 57577?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I do a little bit of my own thing because I add a title as well, which is not necessarily the Japanese tradition.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just the 3 lines or the 5 lines, nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
But this was, but also, as you can imagine, charm, elegance, and intrigue, human relationships, always a little complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't go too well. I really wanted to write a book so much so that you could just open it up and find a poem to read. Just open it at random.
Yes.
So let's put it to the test. And I want to ask James to read.
Okay. I didn't get my glasses, Mark, but I'm glad I'm gonna read it now. Yeah. I said, you don't have my glasses on me? No. All right. An old mistress, no longer sleeping, weary eyes, disheveled hair, pain allows no rest, yet she would gladly resume luring eager wealthy men. Ooh. Deep.
Okay, you can try.
Now I should have had my glasses on, y'all, but I was thinking I didn't have to read. I thought Mark was going to read them, but he pulled the fast one on me.
Okay.
He got me. And this one is called An Elegant Sham. Through
Them.
Excuse me. See, I think I'm doing a misservice to reading
Okay,
with no glasses. But though married for years, only the facade remains, a well-closed curtain. Unfaithfulness stays hidden, tears shed in secret as well. And that's an elegant sham. That one's really deep. I mean, when you can imagine everything he's talking about in that short period of time, and the way he's wording it, it gets you right to your imagination and right to the things that you can see for yourself through your imagination. Beautiful writing, Mark.
Thank you.
Beautiful writing.
Yeah, because it's like I said, can you take also very important. If you're going to write, if you're writing, ask other people to read your work for you.
Mm-hmm.
If they read it and say, oh, my wife and her mother would say, I know you tried hard, but you didn't succeed so well. And also other people will open up some horizons for you and point out things about your own work that maybe you would have never guessed. So let me just read a couple of my own. only a bit of nostalgia. With each sip of gin, she ponders old memories, flirtatious dances, witty words from handsome men, promises of love now gone.
Very good writing.
Thank you.
Now, could you show them all of the books? You showed them one.
Okay,
Let's go into all of the books and how are they able to purchase them?
Okay, yeah, there's the second one, and this is called As If, let me see, As If in a Distant Dream. Mm-hmm. And this is all 575. Mm-hmm. The first book, Charm Elegance Intrigue, 57577. This one, 575.
That's the one I got, y'all, so definitely purchase that.
And it's different themes, the beauty of the natural world. Also, if you're going to, the natural world also point out it's not just, there's danger as well, and mm-hmm. a lot of mystery. Plus human relationships. You'll also need, also sometimes you just want to have some fun. Mm-hmm. And there's also the idea of the muse, that is that mysterious feminine spirit that inspires us. Mm. And she's not always an easy person. She's a spirit.
Yes.
And so she's a little, so here's one. So imagine you're trying to write, and this mysterious feminine spirit comes up to you and starts giving you little tidbits of ideas, a little bit here, a little bit there. And you sort of wonder what she's thinking. And you need to consider the insight she offers. I judge as I please, maintain no rules, no program, offer random clues. I seek wanderers, draw them into my circle, let their minds spout dreams. Those delightful boys, beautiful, charming, witty, how they obey me. Very few please me. Though they enjoy my favor, I will discard them.
Deep.
Yes, well, we don't control even our own writing.
That's right.
Sometimes don't try to force it, just let it happen.
Yes.
Let the ideas come to you.
That's the best way to write. I mean, inspiration is actually what's coming out of you and onto that pen and paper. You know, I mean, mm-hmm. that's the best way to write. What really talking about letting it come from inside you? Is it the imagination that you are writing with, or is it just something that you captured in a moment in your spirit and you just say, all right?
Yeah, it's sometimes it grows over time. You have to let your experiences instruct you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what you've observed, what you've thought, sometimes things that have inspired you, that have appealed to you. But then also very important, you may put some good ideas on the paper, but you have to edit your work. You have to make sure that your readers read that and say, I know what you mean. Thank mm-hmm. you. And you may have read over it a dozen times before you let one person look over it mm-hmm. once. Mm-hmm. But just make sure to, like I said, let the ideas come to you, put them on paper, make sure you capture them when they come to you. And then after you've written them, make sure to edit them. Let someone else see your work. Let someone else view it, and then you can suddenly you realize, I go at this every day. Mm-hmm. If I can write something every day, then I know it's going to add up.
Good. Now, let the people know before we leave where they can purchase your books.
Okay. The best way, well, first of all, the best way is just to go to Classics Used Books, Classics mm-hmm. Bookstore and Gifts yes. in Trenton. You can just ask the owner, Eric Mayworth. Yes. Hey, where's Mark Schardine's books?
Yes.
The other way, there you can also contact Blue Jade Press. Mm-hmm. Just do an internet search, Blue Jade Press. It's run by Rebecca Bonham, to whom I gave word of thanks. Mm-hmm. Great word of thanks for this, the second book, As If in a Distant Dream. You can also just go into Amazon.com. My last name, Schardine. It's a pretty rare name. So you just type in Amazon.com and then Mark Schardine, or Amazon.com, As If in a Distant Dream, Amazon.com. And then let's say Charm, Elegance, and Intrigue, or also my third book, Under Watchful Eyes, which maybe I can show you this.
Yes, show me so that we can have it visual.
So this is Under Watchful Eyes. This is the recent one. There's one, again, more words of encouragement to young writers, aspiring writers. Each time you think, I want to do something different with my new book, something I didn't do with my past book. And for this one, it was some of it's 575, some of it's 57577, some of it's rhyming couplets. I decided to do all sorts of different styles. Just let them appeal to me.
And let them roll.
Let them roll. And also, a lot of these poems, I'd written them before I published Charm, Elegance, and Intrigue. They stayed in notebooks, stayed on the computer flash drive, and just thought about them. Okay, maybe at some time these will be good.
All right.
And so just and some of these are one thing it's important for poetry. Sometimes just the pleasures of life. And just a little 575 poem called Shrimp Tempura. Crispy white coating keeps a piece of shrimp juicy. Crunch it, then slurp it. I think awesome. Our good friend Todd Evans would say, "Boy, you read your food poetry, you make me hungry."
Yeah. One of the things I like to do to your poems, Mark, is I like to read over them and put a song to them all the time. So, like I think the last time we came to the open mic, I definitely felt that poem like a song instantly after reading the poem. It's just like it was right there.
I just want to tell you that's a great tribute to a poet. When someone reads the words, recites and says, this is musical. Let me put this to music, because a lot of the best poems are put to music. And well, Bob Dylan, Nobel Prize for Literature, well deserved. Think of all the lyrics of Bob Dylan songs that stay with us. The one lyric always stays with me: how many times can a man turn his head and claim that he just doesn't see? And that one stays with us. Really. So definitely poetry and music have a very close connection.
Very so. Yes, so very much so. Yes, so listen, you heard where you can purchase his books. Come on down to Classics Open Mic. Come on down to Classics Open Mic, and also come on down to Classic Books and Gifts to purchase his books. And they are also on Amazon.com. And you have one more, so they'll know that.
I just, like I said, I mentioned I wrote in French. This is a book, Vers des horizons lointains, Towards Distant Horizons.
And is that on Amazon?
That's also on Amazon as well. Okay. It's also at Classics.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to let you go right now. Make sure you've seen all of the books and go purchase them. Mr. Mark Schardine, we appreciate you coming through, and keep on coming through. And we'll be back the first Saturday. I don't know if he's going to come through for the first Saturday.
I certainly intend to.
You may meet him in person. Come on, get an autographed book from Mr. Mark Schardine. All right? The first Saturday of April, we'll be here for the open mic. He may be here, and if he is, come get yourself an autographed book. All right? We thank you, and keep on reading. Peace.